Thank you very much for giving me a voice. And my name is Gawel Solosky from Bingo University. I will today talk about anaerobic digestion and addition of biochar from wood. The concept was prepared by to anaerobic digestion using cattle rumen waste mixed with food waste. And the idea was resulted as article in for to publish in Green Technologies and Sustainability, biochar facilitated batch digestion of food waste and cattle human cotton and assessment of process stability, kinetic studies, and pathogen fate. The work was written by incorporation of Leicester University, Professor Alastair Martin, with University of Benin in Nigeria, with undergoing of Professor Nosokare Erhum Funsa, and this work is telling about why they made. The anaerobic digestion is excellent method of management of waste and its stability pathogenic is useful is one of the trouble because, for example, caterumen after using cannot be used as fertilizer due to high content of some bacteria due to the newest regulation of the European Union. Therefore, we need to find method that the bottom, the liquid part of anaerobic digestion, because anaerobic digestion is digestion of organic part. It contains gaseous part, which causes after pretreatment produce methane and carbon dioxide, and lower liquid part, which is undigested to the by fermentation and acids, and this undigestion contain often some microbials, which are in case of anaerobic digestion not like fermentation, which use pretreated, so reducing, which is the problem is that this fertilizer bottom can be used as fertilizer, but still has many pathogenic. So is now due to high pathogenic content not forbidden to use if it contains too much pathogen to check before it can be used as fertilizer. Therefore, we need to find a way that will reduce, stabilize the pH, and biochar was idea which was pyrolysis taken by pyrolysis, another method of wood chips taken for furniture local. So mix of kitchen waste with for furniture waste, which is pyrolysis of pH 3.72 to 4.42, which helps to stabilize pH and reduce production too much ammonia, which also is trouble here. They don't think about using separation ammonia and using as source of hydrogen because not always is suitable. And the pathogen was reduced by this from especially coli and salmonella, which are biggest trouble in the case of using them as fertilizer. He says that Nigeria is the most populous country, therefore waste management is very big issue. Everywhere is big issue, but in Nigeria, with growing population and using forests and save it is very important more, because preserving the nature, preserve the green advantages of Nigeria and solve the trouble. So it would be more environmental friendly. The food waste of in Nigeria 50% of municipal solid waste, so not as much as 25%. So higher waste is problem is Nigeria. So the second is trouble that beef and livestock is big producer and produced much of manure which can be used. Therefore, they mix two problems: manure as the source of bacteria from anaerobic digestion, and food waste from local ingestions. Therefore, the biochars, which are for pyrolysis, which can be used as source of Akram, tars, and alkalies, which is made by pyrolysis, is thermal decomposition of the heat on the fluence heat to produce the char. This char of tar can be source of polymers, but it also used as a nutrient, and here as addition to prevent accumulation of bacteria and keep stable pH. The rumen fluid was taken from a local livestock production and was contained includes some yeast even. So this content was mostly content and solid only 7% so very low in compared, for example, for chicken manure livestock using in Europe. And this was mixed in 25-liter gas cylinder. So we have no typical methane potential as usual in area, because in this case of biomethane potential, the clear problem is that we cannot use the organic load rate and production per mix. So they use already bigger volumes to see how this process would go. The pH was added, that was from 7 to 6 by this addition of biochar. So using the biochar as acidization, so this can be used as a more process will be more hydronotrophic, therefore would be much upgraded. The manual wasn't, besides separation, anything more pretreated. As we have process, we have volatile fatty acid pH and monitoring for 35 days. The bacteria was checked after this on the content of pathogenic as Pseudomonas and Salmonella. The kinetic was similar by complex equation, and error was by ANOVA, not by Bonferroni, so replicability should be worse, but still mostly using in fermentation is ANOVA, not Bonferroni like in oven, for example, in agriculture. The biochar ash was from wooden based biomass. So wood with carbon content of 70% was added, and this contains some sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So this was added. The anaerobic digestion was adding during this digestion duration. Within the second peak was observed in 18 to 19 days and 24 and 25. Therefore, we observed the high increase of methane and in case even 70 milligram in case of using 5-gram biochars. In case of which was higher after 28 days, was much higher increase of biogas in compared to the first 21 days, which much higher, especially in 10 grams and 5 grams. 15 grams was higher than 0, slightly just in 25 days. The daily production of biogas was highest in the first 7 days. Just addition of biochar helped that these peaks were more often in all 35 days in case of addition of biochar, both especially 15 grams. This 15 grams wasn't so good for overall cumulative yield. So overall was of a production was 5 to 10 was the optimum. The retention volatile solids use, so the conversion was the highest in case of addition in over time in all 35 days. So the solution wasn't so better. So more the less was easier separable for these ways. So couldn't be separated. The type pH was in case addition of pH give the decrease of pH to 4 to 5 from 6. So especially in case of 5 gram, in case of 15 wasn't so big, and 10 gram. So 5 gram was the lowest pH give of dosage, and this retention among volatile fatty acid was much higher in case now than in case of 15 grams. However, was higher production of hydrogen. This also was higher amount of volatile fatty acids, but lower fatty acid produced, so it helped to conversion during after some time. The ammonia was also much lower, especially in 15 grams. So at more addition, the ammonia was lower. So this char was good for removing. The kinetic modeling was observed also, and as the productive potential was the highest in case of 15 gram parameters. So according to parameters, the highest was in 15 grams. However, the yield shows that 5 to 10. So this pathogenic was 30% lower in case even 15 grams. So the bacteria count give that fungi count was much lower, so less fungi, but especially in our case, and doesn't give much difference between 5 and 15. Only 10 was 15 grams, didn't give, but much lower than in case of not using. So in case of bacteria, pathogenic bacteria, in case, however, the was much also giving much low and increase the pathogenic bacteria, especially in case of 15 grams. However, this 15 grams doesn't count on big production of overall cumulative production. So we see that the char was efficient for reducing of pathogenic bacteria. So then the list can be used as fertilizer, and low pH give better biometal production. So 64% was even increased in compared to not using, especially 5 gram biochar. So this is very important how we can use different ways of different using and different waste utilization compare to help using sustainable environment and sustainable lifestyle and keeping preserving the green environment of Nigeria. Thank you very much for listening to me.